Okay, let's unpack this. Think for a second about how much we learn in a day. Articles, conversations, maybe just, scrolling through headlines.
Oh, yeah, it's constant.
It's a constant stream. But what actually sticks? What lessons genuinely change how we think or act? There's this mystery, to what truly gets internalized and why.
It's the ultimate challenge in our information-rich world, isn't it? Sifting through all the noise to find what's truly valuable.
Right.
And then actually making it part of how we understand things.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're doing today for you, our curious learner. We're diving deep into a collection of ancient wisdom.
Oh.
But presented in a way that feels surprisingly fresh, actually. We're exploring the Jataka tales.
Ah, the Jataka tales. Yeah, these aren't just dusty old relics.
No, not at all.
The volume we're looking at, Buddhist Tales of Young and Old, Prince Goodspeaker, Volume 1, the one interpreted by Ven, Piyatissa, and retold by Todd Anderson, it really highlights their enduring power.
Right.
For centuries, across Buddhist traditions and even drawing from older Vedic literature, which tackled similar ideas about right and wrong. These stories have been used to shape character, really build it.
Absolutely. And what's so compelling is the sheer range of human experiences they touch upon. It's incredible.
Like what?
Well, we're talking about the push and pull of generosity versus greed, right?
Okay.
The destructive force of anger versus the strength of, loving kindness, delusion versus wisdom.
All the big ones.
Pretty much. And while they have these deep roots, this retelling really tries to connect with how we see the world today.
So our goal then, in this deep dive, is to figure out how these, seemingly simple narratives.
Yeah, they seem simple.
Stories made for everyone, young and old, how they can offer some unexpectedly profound and practical insights for navigating modern life.
Exactly. We're after those aha moments, those timeless truths that just cut through all the daily clutter.
Gotcha. Let's do it.
Right. So, let's jump in. One of the first things that really struck me across these tales is just the sheer power of how we think, our perspective.
Yep.
Take the very first story, Demons in the Desert.
Yes. What's fascinating right away is the contrast it sets up. These two merchant friends, similar journeys. But the first one, he's driven by what seems like sound logic.
Right.
Better roads, better grazing, get to market first for the best prices.
Seems sensible.
Seemed like a well-thought-out plan.
But his logic has this critical flaw, doesn't it? He bumps into this group coming back, carts all muddy, carrying water lilies.
There's the decoys.
And they tell him, oh, there's tons of water just ahead, ditch yours.
And the core insight here, the moral, is the correct way of thinking. It just hits you.
Yeah.
This first merchant, he falls prey to what we maybe call gullibility now, or just a failure of critical thinking.
Totally.
He accepts this story, this secondhand account, without question. And it leads his whole group into serious trouble in the waterless desert.
It's a powerful early lesson on, checking your sources, verifying things.
It's such a stark reminder for our own time, isn't it? These demons in the desert offering false hope.
Feels very modern, actually.
It feels incredibly relevant. In this age of information overload, we're constantly bombarded with narratives, right? And it's so easy to be swayed by something that just sounds good without really checking if it's valid.
Yeah.
It highlights the danger of maybe confirmation bias. We accept stuff that fits what we already think.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it just underscores the absolute necessity of critical thinking, really thinking things through.
Yeah.
Just because something is presented confidently or seems like it's from a reliable source, well, that doesn't automatically make it true.
Nope.
We need to constantly evaluate the information we encounter, ask questions, consider the source, always.
Then you have the second merchant, the friend who travels later. We don't get such a dramatic encounter with demons for him.
But the title of the next tale, Finding a New Spring, and the idea behind it, perseverance, well, it hints at a different kind of challenge.
And a more resilient response, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a more subtle lesson showing that being resourceful, being persistent, that mindset can get you through tough spots.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our own lives, when we face conflicting info or unexpected bumps in the road, are we more likely to jump to conclusions like the first guy based on just a little bit of data? Or do we show that resilience, that resourcefulness of the second one?
Good question. Anyway, so moving on. The Jataka tales definitely don't shy away from highlighting how our own flaws, our character flaws, can lead us astray.
No, they're pretty direct about that.
The Golden Plate is a really clear example of this. It focuses squarely on greed and honesty.
Right. The story itself is pretty straightforward, but the takeaway is sharp. You see these folks driven by greed, trying to trick their way into getting this magical golden plate, while the ones who act honestly, with integrity, they're the ones who actually benefit in the end.
It's a direct cause and effect lesson. Greed is self-defeating, basically.
Pretty much. While integrity, maybe it seems slower, but it pays off in the long run. Lasting benefits.
And then there's Mountain Buck and Village Doe, which dives into that very relatable failing of infatuation.
Oh, yeah. This is one where you really see how emotions can just completely override common sense.
Totally. What's striking is the buck's complete inability to see the danger. He's utterly consumed by the doe's appearance.
Blinded by love, so to speak.
Completely ignoring her warnings. She keeps telling him the village is dangerous, but he doesn't listen.
His infatuation just blinds him to reality. Any sense of self-preservation, gone.
And the lesson is blunt. Infatuation leads to destruction.
Ouch.
But it's not just about romance, is it? This feels relevant to any situation where we get totally fixated on something.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like maybe a quick financial scheme or a fleeting trend, even just an idea we fall in love with.
Ah, I see.
So much that we ignore obvious warning signs or, good advice from people who care.
Yeah. Intense emotions can definitely hijack our rational thinking. We can get blinded by immediate desires or just superficial appearances in all sorts of ways.
Chasing some risky investment, maybe?
Or clinging to a project that's clearly failing.
Staying in a bad situation just because it's familiar.
All kinds of things. Absolutely.
Okay, another tale that really stuck with me was The Wind Deer and the Honeygrass.
Ah, the honeygrass.
The insight is, it is better to eat to live than to live to eat. Sounds simple, but there are layers there.
Definitely. The story of this super cautious wind deer.
Yeah, normally very wary.
Being lured into the king's palace just by its intense craving for the sweet taste of this honeygrass. It's a powerful metaphor.
For how even small desires can trap us.
Exactly. And the king's reflection afterwards on attachment and the allure of taste, that's really insightful.
It makes you think about the broader implications of being controlled by our desires, doesn't it? Whether it's the constant urge for more stuff, more possessions.
Or needing validation all the time.
Yeah. Or any craving that just distracts us from what really matters for, a balanced life.
It shows how easily we can be led astray just by chasing pleasure.
This raises a good question for you listening. What are the honey grasses in your life?
Good question.
What seemingly harmless cravings might be subtly pulling you away from your better judgment or your long-term goals?
What small indulgences might have bigger unintended consequences down the line? Worth thinking about.
Definitely. We also see the stark consequences of, skipping class, basically, in the fawn who played hooky, especially when you contrast it with the fawn who played dead. Diligence pays off there.
The takeaways are pretty clear, aren't they? Nothing can be learned from a teacher by one who misses the class.
Simple truth.
Versus well-learned lessons bring great rewards.
The story of the fawn who skipped his survival lessons and, didn't make it.
Yeah, a bit harsh.
It's a powerful reminder, though, of the value of paying attention, of learning.
Definitely. And on the flip side, the fawn who did pay attention learned diligently from his teacher.
He used his smarts.
He was able to apply that knowledge in a crisis, playing dead cleverly to escape the hunter.
Right.
It really underscores the practical application of learning, using what you know when it counts.
It's that crucial difference, isn't it, between just passively hearing information and actively engaging with it.
Right.
So you can actually use it effectively when things get real. The fawn playing dead wasn't just recalling a fact. He was analyzing, strategizing.
Using his learned skills to survive. Exactly.
This connects back to what we said earlier about information overload.
How so?
Well, it's not just about how much info we consume, but about truly understanding it, internalizing it.
And being able to use it wisely in the real world.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The Jataka tales also offer some really profound insights into relationships, our connections, how we treat each other.
Absolutely. Relationships are central.
The Wind and the Moon explores friendship with a surprisingly simple but enduring truth. Weather comes and weather goes, but friendship remains.
I like that one. The argument between the lion and the tiger, It's kind of silly, isn't it?
Totally silly. Arguing about when the cold weather starts?
It really highlights how easily even close friends can get bogged down in minor disagreements. Petty stuff.
And the wise hermit steps in.
Yeah, his intervention just emphasizes keeping perspective, recognizing the lasting value of sticking together over the temporary buzz of being right.
Relational harmony over intellectual victory, as you might say.
Well put. It's a good reminder that sometimes, especially with people you care about, it's better to just let the small stuff go. Preserve the connection.
Yeah, rather than digging your heels in.
Then you have the goat who saved the priest, showing the dangers of ignorance.
Ooh, this one's interesting.
The unintended and frankly tragic consequences of the priest's ritual. It all stems from his lack of real understanding.
He didn't know what he was doing, basically.
Right. And the fairy's teaching afterwards about the inherent value of all life. It's a powerful lesson in humility and, well, knowing what you're talking about.
It really underscores the idea that even if your intentions are good, your actions can still cause harm if they're based on a flawed understanding or just incomplete information.
It highlights the responsibility that comes with action, doesn't it? Thinking things through.
Definitely. And the God in the banyan tree goes into the complexities of a bad promise.
A bad promise? How so?
Well, it suggests that even commitments, promises made maybe with good intentions, can lead to negative outcomes, and that ethical behavior should always be the priority.
So, just because you promise something doesn't mean you have to do it if it's unethical.
That's the challenging idea, isn't it? Blindly sticking to a promise, if it leads to harm, isn't necessarily virtuous.
So, true integrity might mean reevaluating a promise sometimes, choosing the most ethical path.
That seems to be the implication. It's tricky.
Okay, shifting slightly. The Monkey King and the Water Demon emphasizes attentiveness. The advice is pretty direct. Test the water before jumping in.
Classic advice. And the prince's careful observation, noticing the one-way footprints.
Smart monkey.
It's a perfect example of using your senses, using your brain to check out a situation before acting rashly.
It's a clear lesson in just being present, being observant, not rushing headlong into things without looking for potential danger.
Those footprints were a dead giveaway, weren't they?
Yeah, a warning sign his less cautious brothers just totally missed.
Similarly, the tree that acted like a hunter highlights the pitfalls of impatience.
Ah, the moving tree.
Exactly. The hunter's eagerness, jumping out too soon. It reveals his trick.
And lets the wise antelope get away. The underlying wisdom there, the wise remain innocent, really speaks to the antelope's ability to spot something off.
Yeah, the antelope knew, hey, fruit trees don't usually shake their branches like that.
It's about paying attention to inconsistencies, trusting your gut when something seems wrong.
And finally, in this section, the Dog King Silver. This tackles the really weighty issue of justice.
A powerful one.
With the message, prejudice leads to injustice, wisdom leads to justice. The Dog King's reasoned defense, arguing against killing all dogs just because of what a few did.
It's a timeless plea for fairness, isn't it? For not judging a whole group by the actions of individuals.
And the Dog King's insight, this really got me. That somehow all life is related.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep.
It challenges us, to look beyond just surface differences and see the interconnectedness, the inherent worth of all living beings.
Which flows really nicely into the theme of leadership, actually.
Good point. Let's talk leadership.
Yeah.
The Great Horse Knowing One presents a really unique take on courage.
How so? It's not the usual battle stuff.
Not at all. Knowing One, this incredibly strong, loyal horse, he chooses a path to capture these 7 warring kings without violence, no bloodshed.
Really? How?
Through cleverness and, well, sheer presence, basically. The insight is striking. True peace is only won by peaceful means.
Ah, okay. So courage isn't just about fighting.
Right. It suggests courage is also about finding innovative, non-violent solutions. Avoiding a bloody victory was the real bravery.
That's a powerful message. A different kind of strength.
Contrasting this, Beauty and Gray shows the impact of different leadership styles really vividly. The takeaway is clear. A wise leader puts the safety of his followers first.
Okay, tell me more.
You have these 2 deer herds, one led by Beauty, cautious, considerate, the other by Gray, impulsive, selfish.
And their fates are different.
Dramatically different. It starkly shows the consequences of looking out for your group versus just acting on your own immediate desires.
A clear lesson in leadership responsibility.
Absolutely. And then King Banyan Deer, embodying the powerful virtue of compassion.
The Deer King, right?
His selfless act, offering himself to share the burden, to be the daily sacrifice.
Instead of one of his herd.
Exactly. And that act ultimately inspires the human king to protect all animals. It's incredibly moving.
The core message, wherever it is found, compassion is a sign of greatness. That just beautifully sums it up.
Yeah. His empathy goes beyond just his own kind. It's a truly noble leadership, rooted in kindness.
These stories really highlight how different parts of leadership, courage, wisdom, compassion, can have such a huge impact.
Makes you think about what truly defines a great leader, doesn't it? Beyond just power or authority.
It prompts us to ask ourselves, how can we cultivate these wise leader qualities in our own lives?
Even if we're not formally in charge of anything.
Exactly. How can we act with more foresight, more empathy? How can we aim for peaceful, considerate actions in just our daily interactions?
Good questions for you, the listener, to ponder. Okay, the tales also touch on something else powerful. Association. Who we hang out with. And the words we use.
Ah, yes. The power of influence.
Ladyface, the royal elephant, vividly demonstrates the impact of association.
Oh, I remember this one. The gentle elephant.
Yeah, totally gentle, but then becomes violent after overhearing robbers talking, right? All harsh and brutal language.
And then changes back.
Changes back when he hears wise men talking gently. It's a compelling illustration of how our environment, the language we're exposed to, can profoundly shape us.
The insight is key. As rough talk infects with violence, so do gentle words heal with harmlessness.
Wow. It really makes you consider the company you keep, doesn't it?
And the media you consume, maybe? The conversations you participate in?
All of it. The subtle but powerful influence of both negative and positive associations, it's undeniable.
And the simple, touching tale of best friends, the elephant and the dog.
Oh, yeah.
That beautifully underscores the power of friendship, just highlighting those deep bonds that can form, even between unlikely pairs.
It's a heartwarming reminder, isn't it, of connection and the lengths we'll go for those we really care about.
Then, Delightful, the strong bull, offers a great lesson in how we treat others. The moral is, all deserve respect.
How does that play out?
Well, he willingly obeys his master's gentle request, but totally resists harsh commands. It shows the power of respectful communication. The paired insights are really potent. Harsh words bring no reward. Respectful words bring honor to all.
That's fundamental but crucial. Applies everywhere, right? Animals, people.
Treating others with respect isn't just, the nice thing to do. It actually works better. It unlocks cooperation.
Good point. Finally, woven through so many of these stories, we see these recurring themes, painful consequences of just plain foolishness and unchecked greed.
Oh yeah, they come up again and again.
We certainly see it. Stories like the hunter tripping himself up in the tree that acted like a hunter.
His own impatience did him in.
The simple mistakes of the two stupid children. The misguided efforts in watering the garden.
Trying to make trees grow faster by pulling on them.
Or the unpleasant outcome of salty liquor. They all show how foolish actions, even if intentions aren't pure evil, just lead to bad results.
And the dangers of mixing power and greed.
Yeah.
That's starkly shown in the magic priest and the kidnapper gang.
Right, the priest with magic powers.
His selfish, destructive use of those powers, even though his student warned him, it just leads to widespread devastation. And his own end.
The lesson is powerful. When power has no conscience and greed has no limit, the killing has no end. Chilling.
It really is. And the whole recurring story of Midhavinda, that character pops up in multiple tales.
Yeah, the guy who keeps messing up.
He's like the ultimate cautionary tale about insatiable greed. His journey just leads to immense suffering, realm after realm, even ending up in a hell world.
It's a stark illustration of that timeless wisdom. All who follow their greed wherever he leads are left unsatisfied. You just never get enough.
Never. And the simple contrast you see in another story between the greedy crow, always wanting more, and the contented pigeon, just satisfied with what it has. It hammers home the same point. Different attitudes, different paths, totally different outcomes.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, we've seen how these ancient Jataka tales, while they might look simple at first glance,
Yeah, deceptively simple.
they offer incredibly relevant insights for you, our learner, navigating the complexities of modern life. We've talked about perspective, the dangers of unchecked desires, infatuation,
The influence of words, associations.
power of compassion, wise leadership. It's all in there.
So, reflecting on all these narratives, maybe a final thought for you listening. What honeygrass might be particularly tempting you right now in your own life? Are there any one-way footprints, any warning signs that you might be overlooking on your own journey of learning and growth?
It's worth taking a moment, isn't it, to consider the subtle but profound wisdom packed into these old stories.
It really underscores the enduring power of storytelling itself.
Yeah. These tales, passed down through centuries, they still offer real wisdom, practical guidance.
Reminding us that human challenges are pretty timeless.
And that ethical conduct, compassion, wisdom, they always matter. Perhaps delving further into the Jataka tales might uncover even more of these surprising, insightful nuggets for you.
Definitely worth exploring more.